So what would happen if the Santa Claus 3 took a shot of ecstasy? Hi. So
Prepare for whimsy. Oh,
so yeah, this is as you can tell, this
uh,
is a very different place where I usually record these.
I was gonna say the walls are different colors.
I'm also like sitting on a chair, which is different too.
Oh,
Uh,
or fudge.
I know. We
I
can
don't know what the rules are now.
like so far they haven't called me out on it, so we can say fuck.
Oh,
Uh,
thank God. I mean, it's still the first minute, isn't it? I don't know. I thought there was something about the first minute.
yeah, but they like maybe in the olden days. I don't know how it works now. So far they haven't cared, so I'm gonna run with that
True,
for the time being.
true. Okay.
Yeah, I'm house sitting for the weekend. This is actually my childhood room uh,
Oh,
for Eagle Eye. This is where I first started recording reviews years ago, like 8 or so years ago, and they turned it into an office, which is always a
mm.
fascinating experience.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we're here to talk about the Christmas Chronicles 2, which means I had to marathon these movies this week.
I feel like this could turn into just a review of both the movies, but yeah.
I feel like it, but we might have to because I don't know how much I have to say about the second one. Uh,
Yeah.
I guess we can go into just our thoughts of the first one just really briefly.
Mhm.
The first one, the basically the main draw of the first movie was, hey, what if Kurt Russell played Santa?
And
Um,
he's like the coolest Santa ever.
it's
Like
one of
this
those
is a
things.
Santa you could get beer with.
I kind of wish it was a hard PG-13 Santa. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't need to be an R, but it would just been great to see Kurt Russell Santa Claus go, "Oh, son of a bitch!"
I keep thinking that throughout this movie.
Because you know there's times where he wants to say he's clearly having a good time.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Kurt Russell just basically steals both of these movies. I
oh, for
mean,
sure.
I don't know if it's called stealing, but there are like technically other kids who are there are like kids who are the protagonists, but from like all the ads and just from everything else, it's like this is Kurt Russell's movie.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't see the prom like 2 days ago, I would have said like maybe they took the spotlight a little bit from the main characters, but now it's like this is nothing. Uh, Um, but yeah, no, the first one, this Caressel had a bit more of an edge than he does in the sequel,
Mm.
which is kind of part of the appeal. He's a bit more harder line, a bit more willing to justify grand theft if he had the right excuse.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
I mean, you got to save Christmas. Christmas has to endure.
like he's a cool. He's like he's still Santa Claus, still got the whimsy, but you can tell he's like, well, if you give me a good enough reason, maybe I'll kill a
Oh
bitch.
yeah.
You know.
I mean,
uh,
it's desperate times. I'm
that's
already
nice.
behind. I got to
Nice
deliver all these
Christmas.
gifts. It's like a whole thing.
Especially when you have the justification of if I don't get the Christmas spirit going, people will die from war and dark ages. Santa calls
Literally.
9/11 hashtag truth.
Jesus Christ, Michael. I don't think we're supposed to be thinking that deeply into this.
That's kind of what the movie was. The first movie was implying, though.
It kind of a little bit was, but like elected to ignore that.
I did
Although,
not. My brain went down like a QAnon rabbit hole. Uh,
oh god, is
maybe
it
that's what
weird? I
happened
didn't
last
even
year. I don't
I
know.
didn't even think of the 9/11 thing until I actually watched Christmas Chronicles 2 when it took place where they had that scene in the airport in 1990. I was like, 9/11 hadn't happened yet. The TSA doesn't exist, and
See, our brain
airports
went two
still
very
sucked.
different directions in that instance. Because your brain went 9/11, my brain went, what if it's the airport from Die Hard 2? And they just
Just
come in and
John
John McClane
McClane.
shooting at motherfuckers.
Oh my god!
Kurt
Imagine
Cobain, son
that
of a
crossover.
Kurt Russell, son of a bitch, and they choose up John McClane, not the
Shit.
weird, naked
Oh
military man.
man.
I don't remember the name of the
Mhm.
villain in the second one. Second one's pretty forgettable, actually. Most people kind of forget that. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah. Mhm.
But yeah, like the first one is a perfectly cute, serviceable Christmas movie.
Oh
Definitely a
yeah.
little bizarre. Not so much so that it's alienating. There's this whole the elves look fucking weird.
Oh yeah. The elves scared the shit out of me when I first saw them in the first movie.
And they doubled down on this in the sequel, and it's in pretty horrific ways. But we'll get into that. Like the kid adorable. I really liked her in the first movie.
Mm.
The boy was fine. He had a good arc.
Yeah.
Not as comfortable as like acting against Kurt Russell, but who can blame him?
Oh yeah.
But
It's Kurt Russell as Santa. I mean, come on, who's gonna? Nobody can beat that. Just give him the Oscar. Give him all the Oscars. It's Kurt Russell as Santa.
Just no Kurt Russell as Santa Claus.
Winner for best lighting, Kurt Russell as Santa.
Just have Kurt Russell as Santa with the same plot as Guardians 2.
Kurt Russell as Santa has to fight Kurt Russell as a planet.
No, it's more just Kurt Russell as Santa Claus, like hoisting the little girl up with her little energy batons. Like, I thought we could do this together.
Oh god!
But you'll have to live the rest of your life as a battery.
Jesus. Oh my god. My favorite thing about the
even better.
My favorite thing.
Okay. Kurt Russell and what was one we had the eye patch? Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh fudge. No, that was Kurt Russell. I don't think he had the eye patch. It was
Something of New York.
What was that movie? It was Gangs of New York. No, that was a completely different movie.
I'm gonna look.
Very different movie. Something
that awkward transitionary period.
Yeah, look up Kurt Russell's eye patch. Just make it happen.
Kurt Russell eye patch. Escape from New York. I was close.
Escape from New York. That was it.
Just to have him as Santa Claus with the eye patch, just going, I don't give a fuck about your war or your president. Like in 2016.
Oh my god. Jesus, this whole review just turned into a pitch meeting for
Kurt Russell as Santa Claus, just reprising his old role.
Kurt Russell as Santa, reprising other Kurt Russell movies.
Kurt Russell as Santa Claus.
Kurt Russell as Santa. Fucking, what was it? Fucking smashing the guitar and Hateful Eight. And then he just pulls out a new guitar and he's like, play this one. And let me
I forgot he did that in the first movie. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I watched the first movie with my sister and I actually had a really good fucking time. I love the first movie.
Oh, the Christmas Chronicles?
Just because he's just so goddamn extra in everything he does in that movie. And it's just
he's clearly having a blast. Where it's like, okay, you're gonna be Santa Claus, but just be yourself. It's basically kind of what it feels like. It's kind of like if we hired
Kurt Russell was Santa, just do that.
It's kind of like if we hired Nicolas Cage to play Benjamin Franklin. It's like, yeah, it's not what you expect, but just do what you want with it. This reminds me. This is a total tangent. If you hear this scene in the trailer, is one of the best trailers
ever. As opposed to the rest of this review. Carry on.
We'll get to the movie eventually. Last night tangent. But Nick, this is a trailer for a Netflix series called The History of Swear Words with Nicolas Cage.
I saw that trailer.
Where he's like drawing this eloquent soliloquy about this magical word and dramatically painting this portrait. And it turns out it's just a picture of a flower with the word pussy on it. And they just go like, it's also the word for a cat.
It's also the word for a cat.
Anyway, massive tangent aside. The first Christmas Chronicles, it's a pretty decent movie. Pretty fun.
Yeah.
Pretty decent movie. Got enough to be refreshing for a Christmas movie, but still, you don't follow familiar tropes. It's a Christmas movie.
I think it made my favorite Santa superpower it's never included in any of the other movies.
The ability to cause
where he just
throughout the land.
Well, no. I meant where he just kind of knows everyone. Like he literally knows them. Like he sees them and he immediately knows their names and he's greeting them like he's known them their whole lives because he's Santa. That was such a good thing, and I loved that in the first movie.
That reminds me of a joke I'll tell you after the review, but because I don't want to go on another tangent. I want to actually talk about the movie now.
Okay.
And Kurt Russell's clearly having a blast in there. He's the main draw of the movie, and it shows, and it works for the most part.
Hmm.
The sequel kind of doubles down on the weirder parts of the first movie, for better or
Oh,
worse. Um,
people got really fucking nuts.
like
Like
that's where I kind of compared to like the Santa Claus 3, which I don't know if you remember that movie.
I remember I remember some of that movie. Like it's a
It's
little hit and miss. If you ask my sister, she loves the Santa Claus movies, all of them. She would be able to she'd be able to better summarize Santa Claus 3. I would not be able to. I just know
basically it's
Martin
where
Short is Jack Frost.
Like Jack Frost, played by Martin Short, is jealous of
Hmm.
Santa Claus for like having all the popularity. So he contrives a scheme
Hmm.
to steal Christmas and become the new Santa Claus.
Yep.
Which leads into this movie that is about an elf who is now a human, because he
Yep.
was too selfish. He would turn into him because he was too selfish.
Because
Spoiler.
it was
Um,
more of just he was just kind of a dick in general, and then
mhm.
he's just like, oh shit, I'm a human now.
Who
Which I
keeps
think is kind of
awkwardly.
funny that when elves just kind of
Okay.
sorry, what?
I was gonna say who keeps awkwardly like
Okay.
pontificating and like breaking the fourth wall by looking right into the camera, which kept freaking me out.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like out of nowhere, there was no
Like
clue for it. There was like no like I don't. I think that like the director just told he didn't know where to look, and the director just used that take for some reason.
yep.
Like, no, Billy, don't look at the camera. No, you don't look. You're supposed to. Okay, fuck it. We've done this 20 times. We're just gonna use that take.
All right. We'll
Whatever.
take that one. All right.
That's a wrap,
Sure.
guys. Whatever. He couldn't help himself. I have no idea what the name is. But
Wicked straight.
who is probably honestly the weakest part of this movie because he's not a very good
He
actor.
really was. Like I
Um,
feel I don't know. Like I think they were supposedly going for like kind of going for like sort of a pure evil kind of villain, but like they were also trying to give him like sort of like oh because I didn't get loved enough kind of backstory, but also just the actor. He doesn't really feel like the kind of like he's not the person like it's like the villain was written to be like a maniacal laughter type, but they did not cast a maniacal laughter kind of actor for it
no, they kind
or
of
something. Like it's like
not good.
what was that?
They kind of cast the awkward
I missed,
high school actor who applies for the play because they
yeah.
love theater, and the director just kind of wants to humor them a bit because they don't want to be mean, but so they kind of cast him as like
Well,
throwing.
that and that, or they cast him as one of the lead roles because there weren't enough guys in the drama department and they
There is
needed a
also
lead role. Mm,
that is true. Um, anyway,
yeah,
and the kid's trying his best. That's I don't want to be mean to him because he's clearly young and still like
yeah.
working through some stuff, but at the
Is he
same time, it's
this?
like
I know he's not the kid from Deadpool 2, but he reminds me a lot of the kid from Deadpool 2.
at least the kid from Deadpool 2 can kind of act, you know.
He could act. He was an actor. Yeah.
So at least like I still kind of bought that. I mean, Kurt Russell's back, and
Yeah.
he's still probably the most entertaining part about this, even though he definitely feels a bit more toned down than he did in the first one.
Oh, he really does. I
Okay, so it's
mean,
not just me.
one thing I did, yeah, I felt like he was kind of toned down a little bit, but I think it's also because there's like a very different dynamic between like sort of this movie and the last one. In the last movie, it's essentially Santa like improvising, which they kind of draw a thin line between did this bearded bastard plan this whole thing or not, which is another thing I loved. Whereas in this movie, they had Santa pitted against someone else.
Oh,
Like in the
son of a
first movie, the
bitch.
goal was
Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt
what's
you,
up?
but
Uh, okay.
actually, the kid is the kid from Deadpool 2.
Oh shit!
Yep,
Wow, he got old.
yep.
Like it was the British accent that was kind of tricking, like not tricking, ticking, not ticking. It was like I was like, it's this
Oh
kid, this
no.
guy's accent. He feels like the kid from Deadpool 2.
Maybe that's what threw him off. Like he was trying to do an accent he couldn't do because it was like he was better in
I mean,
Deadpool.
either that or that's his actual accent, and we're just making fun of this poor person.
um. Either way, well, now I kind of feel like a dick because like he's not a bad actor, just like, could not keep up with this movie for whatever reason. But
Yeah. Plus, it's just kind of, it's like it's weird to have like a villain in a Christmas movie. or at least just a villain like this. I
Yeah,
don't know. Like I feel like there have been better Christmas villains, but
yeah,
yeah,
I don't know.
it
Either
was
way,
really just kind of it wasn't really well thought out.
whatever was going on behind the scenes, it just did not work here. Um,
Yeah, just it didn't add up.
it didn't add up.
Um,
But yeah, anyway, you're saying
mhm.
about Kurt Russell before I interrupted you.
Right. So yeah, in the first movie, it's like Kurt Russell had the goal: I need to save Christmas. Or the movie is about, hey, we need, we messed up and we need to make up for our mistake. We need to save Christmas, and we kind of have to navigate a lot of obstacles in the city throughout, to sort of figure out get all the stuff we need. Uh, Whereas the second movie, it's a little more streamlined in the plot almost, where it's like, oh, we have kids now. Oh, we're missing the MacGuffin, and we need to go to the place to get a new MacGuffin and bring it back here. And there's just kind of a dick on the way who's trying to stop us. Except he's not stopping us because I am Santa and I am the most powerful wizard of all time and the nicest guy ever.
So shall it be. I don't know.
Pretty much. Like it's a very like Santa one of my biggest complaints about this movie is that Santa doesn't really get to interact with people as much in this movie,
Yeah,
which
that's
was like the biggest my favorite part of the last movie.
instead he's
Like,
mostly interacting with CGI elves
yeah.
and the little kids, which just is not the same. And then you got like
Hmm.
was it Arthur McDowell playing one of the elves who shows up like a scene, where it's like, oh, you don't cast him just being one scene. Come on, at least make him a regular character.
Yeah.
I think
Was he like the elf elder?
he was the elf elder. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that.
I think his name is Arthur McDowell. Am I saying that right? Malcolm McDowell.
Now, I was just saying, I don't know who the fuck Arthur is. I know there's a Malcolm, but
Malcolm McDowell. Yeah,
that was Malcolm McDowell.
that was Malcolm McDowell. Yep.
Dang. All right.
Um, no, that's a very good point. I think it's kind of what was movie like a thing about this movie that wasn't really working for me. Now, to be fair, I didn't hate this movie by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, same.
Like
I just think the story was. Oh,
but
mhm.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I think I cut you off, but it's hard to tell with the internet and whatnot.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like
Type in the
overall,
comments who's actually interrupting. Okay.
okay, now you are interrupting.
Damn it. All right.
So I think it's perfectly fine. I think it serves perfectly well as a kids' Christmas movie, which is like the intended audience. So I'm not going to be a dick and say like this is a piece of crap, and how dare you not be the edgelord that I, the adult watching a kids' Christmas movie, want you to be. That's like watching a Superman movie and going, wow, I wish Superman would murder more people. God damn, this is not tailored to my adult sensibilities for some reason.
Man, there's too much color in this Superman movie. They should really tone it down with more darks and blacks and grays.
Don't they understand that I, the sophisticated adult, are more important than the budding child?
Mm-hmm.
How
don't they need to understand don't the little shitlings need to learn that life is about murder?
But yes, my child, but what about me?
I mean, this movie's still a lot of fun to watch. Like, griping about the plot and the villain aside, it's still fun.
Yeah, like there's some creative visuals, there's some bright colors. There's I was not gonna lie, I was a little worried about oddly enough, we have the same issue as the other movie we reviewed not too long ago, Over the Moon has. Where it feels like it's about like two kids that should be bonding throughout the movie, and then they're immediately separated for like 90% of the movie. Because this character, the main crux of the story is the little girl from the first movie is a teenager now, and she is in some fancy beach.
Yeah, Cancun.
Mexico. Because her mom has discovered Tyrese Gibson, but they call him Bob, which is like that's a placeholder.
Which is like the ultimate stepdad name.
Hi, I'm Bob.
I'm Bob or Ron or Brad.
But yeah, but in this case, he's like I guess he can afford this trip, but she's afraid that he's gonna replace her dad.
Mm-hmm.
And which is like not a bad thing to talk about, sure. Okay.
Absolutely.
There's also that cynical part of my brain going that like, hey, if I had a stepdad that could pay for a trip to Cancun, I'd be like, hey, welcome to the family. Well, that's just Papa. Turns out money can buy love.
It buys something close enough.
Close enough. Acceptance and tolerance. Well, that last joke's a little too dark.
Oh man.
But anyway, but either way, the point is she's not happy about it. But Bob has his own son, whose name is Jack. And the minute Jack comes in, describes his character, I was like, oh no, we're going to stuck with you for the rest of the movie, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
Because if it's like, thank God they didn't lean into this as hard as they could have.
Yeah, I was a little worried about that.
Much more obnoxiously. Versus like, I have a shit ton of allergies and I'm scared of everything. Let this be my character arc for the rest of the movie, which basically the minute he shows up.
I always call that character Macaulay Culkin from Pagemaster.
Oh my god.
Yeah, just he's the Pagemaster kid.
Going way back. Well, at least he's not talking about statistics.
Oh yeah, very true.
Pagemaster, that movie freaked me the fuck out when I was a kid. To this day, I have horror memories of that movie. Wasn't even Master Eye. It was the whole like paint turns into a cartoon thing that freaked out my adolescent mind. Like that scared the shit out of me. Like what the fuck?
Oh man! Like yeah, it turned into a dragon, man. You're not gonna fuck around with a library dragon.
Made your skin disappear. I was like,
shit, I gotta watch that movie again.
Christopher Lloyd, they're going
horror,
and it's like Jesus Christ. Like I'm kind of struggling to think about things to talk about in this movie because it's kind of like, even though it has some kind of batshit weird elements in it, it still kind of feels like a standard Christmas movie that takes place. It's about Santa Claus, and it's not bad, but it just kind of feel like it's lost a little bit of what made the first one kind of special.
Yeah, a little bit. Just like I feel like I'm complaining about the same thing over and over again, but I feel like okay. So here's the other thing. Here's another thing that kind of bugged me a little bit.
All right.
Is something that they averted in the Jingle Jangle. They just kind of leaned into for Christmas Chronicles 2, and that's the redemption of the villain, which I don't think they played that right.
No,
especially with the speech, that little moment that Bob has with the girl, like, because like the way that they go about it is like, once the villain's defeated, he's like, okay, I'll be back and I'm gonna kick your ass and ruin Christmas next time. And Santa's like, but we love you. And Mrs. Claus, who, by the way, I love the fact that they cast Kurt Russell's in real life wife as Mrs. Claus. Yeah, that is his actual spouse, which I think is wonderful.
That's cool.
Like Issa, my sister was telling me when we were watching the first one, and it was like, oh, that is so smart. But the which was actually something else I loved about the second movie was just how freaking in love Santa and Mrs. Claus are. I thought that was adorable.
They were cute, yeah.
They were very cute. Right. So Santa's like, I love you, and the Mrs. Claus is like, I love you too. We never stop loving you. Except for that one part where Santa was totally ready to wreck your shit up, but we still love you.
I wanted that scene to happen. I was kind of a little disappointed because they were doing like the whole final showdown, like Neo and Mr. Smith, like showing off in the rival sleds, ready to just clash and fight and everything. And I was waiting for the dramatic choir to kick in.
Duel of the Fates starts playing.
As like clashes, like bloody hooves, and I will say like one missed opportunity from this movie is there's a part where there's a whole thing with a Yule cat who I guess is just like a that fucks shit up, who just straight up tries to murder. I think it was a Dasher.
Yeah, I want to say Dasher.
And I was like, is this part is a reindeer just gonna fucking die in this movie?
I was so concerned for a second. I was like, are they gonna kill a reindeer right now? What the fuck?
What I was really hoping they would do, and I granted this is total like internal fan fiction. I know they were gonna do this. Maybe they'll do it for a third movie. is
Oh my god.
there's a part where Santa Claus is going like, it's really hard to fly with 7 reindeer. And I was like, oh, please have a scene where it's like, I gotta make a call. And it's like to Rudolph, like chopping wood in like a wood cabin somewhere out like the outskirts of the North Pole. Uses his nose like light
pulling a long time ago, old man.
It's like Santa shows up like in a helicopter, like a toy helicopter, lands not that far away. Rudolph's there. He takes a cigarette out of his mouth. Like, what do you want?
Like he lights it with his nose.
Lights it with his nose. Take a whiff. What do you want, old man? I need your help, Rudolph. I tell you, I don't do that anymore.
I'm out of that life.
I'm out of that.
I got a family now.
It's like, but why? You know why, Claus.
You know what you did. They were only children.
Play your goddamn games.
Presents.
Always made fun of me.
You didn't let me play any reindeer games.
Hermie needs you, Rudolph. God damn you, son of a bitch.
You didn't.
I'll do it for him, not for you.
Is that what you told Yukon Cornelius when I jumped off the cliff?
Son of a bitch! Anyway.
Don't you dare say his name!
Don't you dare! Don't you talk about Bumbles like that! You leave him out of this!
Holy shit.
Adam, don't you want that movie so bad now?
God, I really do. Just like, goddamn.
Like, what do you need?
Grizzled veteran reindeer Rudolph.
Just a Santa Claus movie. Recast Kurt Russell as it, and then just put it with
just Kurt Russell as a different Santa.
This as an entirely different Santa.
Yeah. This is the R-rated Santa.
Anyway, sorry, that was another massive tangent. I was thinking about that movie, and I would not stop laughing. But
right, so Santa says, "I love you," and then they get the. And then the elf is like, oh, but I love you too. And like there's this whole thing where he turned human because he was being a dick to everyone. But then after he says I love you, he turns back into an elf like that. That's all it took.
Yeah, that was it.
Just kind of cool with it.
And another thing that's kind of fascinating. One thing that's kind of fascinating about this movie that I kind of wish the movie lead into more is kind of teased in the first one is nothing pisses off Santa Claus more than when you mess with his branding.
That was funny.
Because like that was whole montage of like this elf just kind of fucking shit up across the North Pole. But the thing that really ticks Santa Claus off is when the elf changes the Santa Claus Coca-Cola covers to ones of him, and that's just the last straw. And there's a whole like a little joke in this movie where they're saying like, well, Mrs. Claus did all of this and she did all of this, and then the kids go, well, shouldn't we call Mrs. Claus's village then? And Santa Claus like, well, I discovered it.
We
things.
can,
I guess.
sure. And then every time they bring it up again, he's just like,
visibly uncomfortable.
All right, yeah, we can call it Mrs. Claus's village. I'm supportive.
You know, internally he's like, don't you mess with my brand. He's just got an image, you little bastards. I know what I'm doing. I am just being the biggest cynical dickwad in this review.
I mean, no comment. So he turns back into an elf.
Yes, that is what happens.
Yeah. And, you know, that problem's solved just like that. And then the kids get sent. Santa takes the kids back to Cancun. They reunite with the mom and Bob. And Bob is like, hey, you know, I just want you to know I'm not here to replace your dad. I know it's going to be like a process. But, you know, we'll make, you know, I don't expect it to happen instantly. We'll make this work one day at a time. And I was just like a little annoyed that they didn't take a similar approach with the villain of this movie.
Yeah, especially some like bonkers lines. Like the one that killed me was when he said like, "Why are you doing this? Because you care about all the other children in the world more than me."
Bitch, I'm Santa. That's my job.
I know. That's like, and what a weird thing to draw your line at,
I
right?
know.
Like what they if they
Jeez.
like they could have rewritten that in so many different ways. They could have
Little
said like
baby wants his bottle. And it's
it was
just
like
like,
you could have said
Jesus.
like they could have said like you love your job more than me.
Yeah.
You care more about your sled more than me, or anything along those lines would have made
Yeah.
more sense. Other than how dare you have empathy for other people, you bastard.
You care too much about other people's happiness, you selfish son of a bitch. I'm sorry, what?
You know the real reason he was turned into a human though, because he wanted to unionize.
They even had him in like sort of that Rosie the Riveter pose for a second when he had that wrench on his shoulder, just kind of a little bit of that elf we can do it, but like
That's a great
I don't
lesson to
know.
teach your kids watching this movie. All right, gather
Oh
around,
yeah.
kids. Let me tell you a story about how the Christmas Chronicles 2 is really pro propaganda bullshit.
Jeez. I
It,
was kind of like I had a moment of that where Santa's like, order is restored. And it was like, okay, that's a weird way to phrase that.
now take that same line, give it to Josh Brolin's Thanos, and see how it sounds.
Order has been restored. It's not quite. There's something ominous as hell about that.
I know, right?
Yeah. I feel like if they wanted to push for villain redemption, they they should the way I would have done that is let the bad elf stay in the North Pole, but keep him human.
Yeah,
And
I probably
let
would.
him work his way up to it,
But the
so
minute
to
they say
speak.
there's a way to reverse the curse, you know that's what it's leading to.
Mm-hmm. Also
Um,
very true.
and again, I'm not going to harp on a Christmas movie too much for
Yeah.
being predictable because that feels like
Mhm.
yeah, it's a Christmas movie. What do you want?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
So like this is
no,
again,
this time Christmas stays stolen. Um,
that was probably in the original Ron Howard Grinch. Because you want to talk about a hateful Christmas movie.
oh my god. There it
Um,
is.
like that movie is actively cynical and it's now considered like a childhood classic.
It really it's weird because it's like whenever just one of my friends talks about like the Jim Carrey Grinch movie, it's like, oh my god, that movie's so funny. But whenever I listen to like actual like or not actual film people, but just like film people like talk about it, they're like, oh, the movie sucked.
No, it's not
Like,
a good movie, and like I still like Jim Carrey
yeah.
in it, but it is cynical as hell.
Really the best part of the Jim Carrey Grinch movie is just Jim Carrey as the Grinch. But a lot of the rest of the movie is just kind of like,
Bizarre, and
okay.
again, super
That's a
cynical. Like
that's a decision.
it is,
And also there's an explosion in the Grinch. Sure.
yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, anyway,
Christmas Chronicles.
the Christmas Chronicles. I mean, like, I don't have a whole lot to say beyond like the jokes and the riffs we've made here. Like,
Yeah.
for a suitable audience, it's perfectly fine. Like, this
Yeah.
isn't like offensively bad. There's not anything to really get mad at or upset by. It's more like, yeah, it serves its purpose. I like
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Russell. I like him as
Yeah.
Santa Claus. I hope he
Oh
does
yeah.
it more. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's what you're looking for. You'll enjoy this movie fine.
Yeah.
If you're a natural
It's a fun
critic like me
movie.
that's trying to overcome that part of me, then you might find some ways to poke fun at this thing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, like do I wish it kind of leaned more into like a PG-13 kind of style? Yeah, but again, it's not made for me. So like
We need a P. Okay, one of my
PG-13
favorite.
also Christmas movie.
Yeah. Okay, my one of my favorite details of this movie is like there's like this thing where all the elves went ape shit, and like in the background while the elves are going ape shit, they have like a movie theater, and it says now playing Bad Santa, and then they cure the elves of being ape shit, and they change the marquee to now playing elf.
Well, I actually said
I
that first. I didn't notice the Bad Santa bit, but it did say it was playing Elf.
like yeah. I thought that was fucking
Actually,
hilarious.
that's a pretty good joke. I'm sad I missed that.
Yeah, it's like something they weaseled into the background. I thought that was really smart.
Yeah, it's
I
kind
thought
of
it was funny.
like the only thing I can really say is like the elf, like this whole plot line of the elves going crazy and like manic, and there's a surprising amount of chainsaws in this movie.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, there was a surprising amount of chainsaws in the first movie too.
true, but at least they like implied they were gonna use it.
I mean, dude, I don't know if you remember this part of the first movie, but there was like a moment where one of that one elf was dead ass ready to saw a teenager in half nuts first.
Yeah, no, I remember that
So
scene. No, like
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like
So,
that little bit of edge that the sequel is missing. Uh,
so it's like I'm pretty certain these elves were already crazy,
like
and then you just gave them elf cocaine.
this elf cocaine basically turned into the Gremlins for a little while.
Yeah, literally, they just turned into gremlins, which is
Talking
also
about
one
though,
of my
like
favorite
it's a little
Christmas
bit of
movies.
edge from the first to the second movie. It's kind of missing this movie, but again, I
Yeah,
have this. This is the movies where I have to take into consideration that's not made for me.
yeah.
And I have I have to take myself out of it, which makes it hard to just outwardly despise this movie in any way or even be angry towards it in any way. Because yeah, it serves its
Honestly, I
purpose.
don't even dislike this movie.
No, like
I
not at
still
all.
enjoy it. It's a good movie.
But you get what I
But
mean, though,
yeah,
right?
hmm
Yeah.
yeah.
Just
It's like it's a little weaker than what the first movie was building on.
it's more like I have to
So
take in mind that's like, yeah, there's things I wish I did about it, but for what it's aiming for, what it's trying to do, it does what it's
yeah,
supposed to. And yeah, so
hmm
like this is a case where like I have to like I can't be bitter that it didn't do what I wanted to do when it did what it was supposed to do. If that makes
hmm
sense. Um,
yeah, it
so
does.
yeah, is there anything else we could talk about with this?
Uh, that crossbow was bullshit.
Yeah, I had so many
Sorry.
questions with the
Okay.
properties of that fucking crossbow.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, it's just like
Like, wait, are they
really
magic
you
nerf
got an
darts or are
entire
they
army
just
of things.
nerf darts? Because it seems to be inconsistent.
Yeah, I don't know. They seem to be just nerf darts that are gentle enough not to kill elves, but are aggressive enough to break a fucking wing off a drone. So,
Really,
not sure what the settings are on this thing. But yeah,
like, yeah, there's a part where
interesting thought.
like Jack, who's the other kid, teams up with Mrs. Claus, like help set things right in the North Pole. And there's a part where she makes like magic cookies to like help him on his journey. There's a cookie that explodes and was supposed to give him courage, except it didn't give him courage. Courage was inside
Mhm.
the whole time. You see that come from a mile away. Um,
Placebo.
placebo. This is a cookie called
It's a
placebo.
simple drug called placebo.
But
Take it and it
this
makes all
part
the oh
like, do you have more cookies that can help me get past all the elves? Like, that's not gonna be enough. And this is where my cynical brain went, here's a gun.
I was thinking the same thing. It's you have a machine gun now. Ho ho ho.
like those cookies aren't enough to get you past the elves. Here, take this Glock. Don't be afraid to cap
You'll
them.
need
They
a couple.
bullet. They're magical.
Oh god.
This is also a lie by Mrs. Claus.
By the way, I'm still pretty fucking certain those cookies would have been more effective than that crossbow, or just give him both. Like he's fighting an army of a dinky little
just comes out of
crossbow.
there like with a headband bandana, like Rambo, with like
Yeah,
like what do they call it? Like a bandolier of like those like grenade cookies.
yeah, bandolier, the grenade cookies, and he's just like. God, it's weird when you really think about those grenade cookies because it's like Mrs. Claus keeps them in her house.
The implication.
She has hand grenades in her house.
They work on
she
the honor.
bakes hand. Sorry, what was that?
They work on the honor system.
Yep. Don't ask Mrs. Claus where she bakes her cookies.
Don't ask questions. Snitches get stitches around here.
Oh my god!
You know that broccoli
this
cake
movie
you're making right now? There's a special ingredient. It's elf blood. It tastes delicious.
Oh my god, that reminds me of a joke I thought of like in the middle of the movie where Dasher is seriously wounded and they need like she's like I need or what was it? They need a special cure for all the elves that are going ape shit. And she's like, I need one special ingredient. And there's a little part of my brain that goes reindeer blood.
Sorry, Dasher.
Like, slowly turns towards Dasher.
Comes back to Mrs. Claus just sharpening some knives. Like, I'm not looking so good there, Dasher.
I'm sorry. I did all I could.
What a shame. Gonna have to put you down.
This movie's bringing out the worst in us, and it's amazing.
What do you mean the worst? This is the funniest.
Also very true.
uh, anything else? Because I feel like I'm tapped out.
Yeah, I feel like at this point I'm just kind of really just kind of going through my highlight reel of riffs through this movie. So I think I'm good.
All right. So yeah, Santa Claus, the Christmas Chronicles 2, perfectly
Yeah,
serviceable.
yeah. Watch the
Like,
Christmas Chronicles one. It's better.
yeah, well, the first one's better. If I had to pick one, I'd watch the first one again. But overall, like, it's decent. It's fine. It's good for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
So yeah, I think that's all we have for today. And next week,
Hmm.
I'm sure there'll be more movies we have to go check out and watch. I'm too lazy to look at them right now because I haven't eaten dinner yet and I'm hungry. So
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go eat.
All
And
right.
thank you guys for watching. See y'all later.
Au revoir. Toodles. Bye.